negating anything that they said, all of it's true. My mother used to live on Fountain Street, and you know, I know that some of those things are true, but I know that that is a solution. And I don't want us to just jump to trying to close them down or something. They are part of a national organization, they're chartered, so it's not as simple as it may sound.
So what are the plans that your department has?
Well, I think we need to go back and I agree with what Ms. Anthony said. I'll bring these ideas to you now and say, okay, these are our problems. We have working to address them, but I think if the Legions agree to work with us and say, hey, look, these are the problems, let's address them. Because Ms. Anthony's 100% correct. They're doing the parties and stuff on Friday and Saturday night for fundraisers to raise money to keep the doors open for the club. It's not the members that are giving the problems to the neighborhood. If they didn't have anything on Friday and Saturday night, we wouldn't even have this discussion. There wouldn't be problems, but they're using that to keep the doors open. So maybe there's a way that we can work together with them so they don't have to have this stuff on Friday night and they can keep the doors open, because they do so much for those kids in that neighborhood. And being police chief, I got to bridge the gap, because I want my residents to feel safe, but also I want them to be involved in the community just as these officers were involved in finding a solution and meeting with the folks.
Maybe it would help if, once they start back in operation, if some of the board members would be out stationed along the street saying, please don't park here.
Right.
But then where will they park? They just go straight down Massey Street?
Well, you actually end up having another issue, because the further they move down LaSalle Street, they get on Massey, they get on Kennedy and Belton, you're gonna have complaints from those neighbors as well.
But there's not enough room, the way I understand it, for an emergency vehicle to get
Right.
through there, parking on both sides. So what if they parked on one side? Is that?
That would help some, but it's like Officer Isaac just said, you're just pushing the problem back over to Boyd Street, Hart Street, English Street, in that area. And then folks' cars are going out, and you have more folks walking around, so it's.
I wouldn't have a problem parking on one side if they don't have any problem. I mean, you know, if it don't bring on the shooting or fighting or whatever, you know. I think that,
I
You know.
think they tighten up and, getting rid of people maybe under 30 years old. There's ways around that, but they have to tighten the operational procedures.
So do they not fall under any code issues with there being so many people there? Are they within the?
Yes, they're following under the fire code, absolutely, and then they also have an ABC license.
So they
which
are.
serve out there. Yes, they have.
all
There's rules and regulations that fall under that, and that's the next thing. But before we get to that point, I would like, with Ms. Anthony's help, to meet back with the board members and have our group go back and say, okay, what's some of the problems and how can we fix it? And go from there. Because I don't think that they've rented it out for next month or so.
They are gonna temporarily suspend having any functions there until we get back with them about potential solutions.
Well, it would be my recommendation that you go back to the citizen that came to the meeting and explain to him what's going on and ask for his patience for at least 30 days, or whatever it's going to take for you to work all this out. That way they at least know we're trying to do something.
Yes, sir.
That's number one. And then, you know, number two, as Lou says, you can work out something with the board and this is going to happen somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Buy this one, and they're gonna have to stay in the city,
Yeah.
it's gonna go.
Well, and like Ms. Anthony said, they are a chartered member, and I pulled the deed from it, and the Legion actually owns that property.
Yeah.
It is owned by the Kroll Legion, so.
well, I'm glad to see that you folks are on it. You've got a good report here. It sounds like you got a plan that can work. And I'm like, you could go back to those folks, and I agree with Freddie. I think it'd be great to go back to these people we've already talked with and tell them what the game plan is. Be patient, we're gonna work it out, and I think the board of directors wants to work with us. And I think we'll come out with a good product.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, Council?
I'd like to be involved.
Yes, sir.
with that
All right.
process.
All right, very good.
Mayor, can I say one more
Yeah.
thing, please? This was a very challenging task, and it took a lot of commitment, and certainly we could not have done it without Officer Sal being involved, and I think most of you know Officer Sal, and also Sergeant Holt, and our crime analyst, Pete Crisp, and the entire challenge that we had in going out there and getting people to feel comfortable with talking to us was led by the efforts of Lieutenant Kilden. So we do appreciate the team effort.
Well, we do appreciate your folks doing it. Great job putting together. And I think we've got a plan. We take this plan and work it and stick with it. The problem will be resolved.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Next, let next item is Downtown Central Business District Art Mural Grant. This is for information purposes only. We are by line.
Good afternoon. How's everyone? This was presented to the General Services Committee earlier, and they asked that I brought it forward to full council. We have partnered with Union County Community Arts Council to offer the opportunities for funding, $1,000 from the Arts Council, $1,000 from downtown, 3 total grants per year. We've worked this into our current budgets so that we don't require any additional funding. And it's to assist in kind of spurring some murals to be painted in the downtown. The murals would be original art. It wouldn't be clip art, so to say, that would reflect Monroe's character, history, whatever. It would be a jury process so that it could assure quality and consistency. There's a maintenance agreement involved that would assure that maintenance is taken care of, because murals get damaged, they have graffiti, whatever. We want to make sure the wall is prepped correctly before it's painted on any surface, or if it's applied, if it's painted on a different surface and put on the wall. So all of this will be done in cooperation with property owners and the artist community. So that's $3,000 from each of our budgets, up to $2,000 funding for each mural, up to 3 per year. So we look at this as an ongoing process. Murals are quite expensive and challenging in some instances. They've never been prohibited in downtown, but you know, when you commission an artist, it could be an expensive endeavor, and it also impacts the historic designation of buildings. Putting a mural on a historic building could jeopardize that status, but that's a property owner decision. I could only make a recommendation. If they want to avoid tax credits for themselves and others in the future that they sell the property to, then that's their decision to do that. It could jeopardize different things, but that's just the bottom line. So that's the basis of the grant, of the offering. We'll work with the Arts Council in promoting and getting this offering out, working in partnership together to get that accomplished. So hopefully we'll have a few takers, but like I said, we're only funding 3 a year. So,
What was the 3 funding sources you said? It was Arts Council downtown?
it's the Arts Council and downtown.
So it's $1,000 from each?
Yes.
Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you.
Moving right along.
Lastly, we've got a presentation from Coach Kincaid concerning community Christian athletics initiative that they're interested in sharing with y'all.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to start out, I want to pass this along. I have 5 copies. So maybe you can kind of pair up to.
I'll make one if you like.
Okay. Thank you.
No, more work for the council.
Yeah. Again, my name is Coach Donald Kincaid. I'm representing Community Christian College. The name of our organization is Community Christian Athletics. Try to give you a brief synopsis. We went to Community Christian College, which is based out of Redlands, California. We knew they didn't have an athletics program, and we knew that they needed a boost in enrollment for students. So we asked them, could we do an athletics program and partner up with them? They agreed. Our first year was last year. Our first team was the Black Knights. We ended up with a 7-1 season. It was an awesome season. We played teams such as University of South Carolina. They got a club team. UNC Greensboro, Central International College out of Virginia. So we've played some pretty known teams, and like I said, we ended up with a 7-1 season. So that was a feat in itself. What we're trying to do now is we're bringing another team here to the Monroe area called the Union County Vipers. And basically what we do, you can call us JUCO. We're a junior college team. We help bridge that gap for those kids that may have had poor SAT scores, or they may have did poorly throughout their 4 years of high school, and their transcript doesn't warrant them to be able to get into a D1, D2, or D3 institution. They come to us. Our program is 18 months. They can get an associate's degree online. And see, this is a new concept. This is more of a new business model. Everybody's kind of used to the one team representing one college, you know, the football team, we got a whole new business model going on. We have many different satellite sites throughout the U.S. We're not the only team, and we actually have one in Charlotte. We have one in Lancaster, South Carolina. We're bringing one here to Monroe. We have one in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we have one in Greenville, South Carolina. Right here, this is actually the Union County Vipers site. Is there just to kind of stroll? We are a Christian college, so I started the website out. An athlete is not crowned unless he competes by the rules. That's 2 Timothy 2-5. I'm not going to go through this. I'm just kind of showing you what the website looks like. The ACT program, Another Chance Training. Now this is going to kind of, I was back here listening to what some of the comments the council was saying, and you were speaking of gang violence. I'm an ex-police officer of 8 years. I was on the gang task force. So that kind of hit to heart when you made that comment. And Another Chance Training is going to help get some of these kids off the street. My goal is to bring them in. Well, I actually have a whole nother program, but get some of these kids that have gotten in trouble, who knows, shoplifting to whatever. I want to sit down with the solicitor. I've already sat down in South Carolina. I want to sit down with the solicitor here and see if I can get a mandate. Maybe you can mandate some of these kids to my program. Now, what I would do at that point, if they are of high school graduate or older, I can see if I can go ahead and get them in school, get them in our online program, moving towards their associate's degree. And then I could actually put them into what I call my practice squad. And if, you know, they do what they're supposed to do and go through the program like they're supposed to go through, then we could actually maybe entertain them getting on the actual regular roster to playing football or basketball. We have a basketball team as well. They're in process of playing right now. And I am speaking of the Lancaster site right now because the UC Vipers is not up and running as of yet, but it will be in effect. I'm making strides right now. One of my
question while you're looking, since you're an online-based institution, where would you your guys play, or what would
That-
be your location?
I was just about to tell you, I met with Mr. Nelson Garner, which is the Union County Athletic Director, and we are going to be sitting back down on January 21st with him, the athletic director for Monroe High School, and the principal. He pretty much already told me that Monroe High School, being with their turf field and everything, he was more apt to allowing me to use that field. And I know Nelson because my son and daughter go to Parkwood. So it was pretty easy to get in and speak with him. He sat down, we talked. He loves the program, and he wanted to do everything he could to get me started. So having said that, we have different sponsors and things. Like I said, everything was the pilot in South Carolina. It worked very well. So now the president of Community Christian College has mandated that